You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
This is CMN, a cage match news update.
All right, before we go into the show, I don't know if you heard the news. AP just came off of the press conference a little while ago, but Raiders roll out defensive end Max Crosby, wide receiver Devontae Adams, and tight end Michael Mayer for Sunday's game versus the Browns. That just adds to all the injuries that we have going in here, the inactives. Also on that list of inactives as of right now, Divine Diablo will be out again for this week. Michael Mayer, we had said, Mumford with that knee, he's also rolled out. So we have a lot of guys that won't play, especially a lot of key starters like a Max Crosby and a Devontae Adams. And of course, Michael Mayer, the starting tight end from last year, he will be out, like we said, and of course Mumford on the right tackle, which means DJ Glaze will be probably starting on that right tackle position, and guys on the defensive line like Snowden and
Jenkins, Adams,
Robinson, yeah. So they will all have more playing time on that right side, or on the defensive end for this game. So
I think it's a good move for Crosby, though. I mean, it's a high ankle sprain. You don't want it lingering all the way into the season and everything. So I'm glad to see that they made the decision to be smart and not protect Crosby from himself.
Yes. But with that said, welcome to the cage match. We just had to put that out there because that was breaking news right before we were going to come on. We're doing another early show because Asylum was on the run, and he found time.
I got on another boat. And ended up on an island.
So he's on the island. He's out there with Wilson, the volleyball. So he'll be back on land next week, and we'll go back to our normal schedule. But as of for right now, Asylum is on the run. So yeah, there you go. All right, then, Asylum, how are you though on your vacation out there?
No, other than being just a little tired and probably drinking too much, I'm doing good.
Sounds like you're staying hydrated.
Yes. Beer has water in it, so I'm staying hydrated.
Yes, water has beer in it, so or yeah, whatever you said. All right, with that said, and Anna, once again, Anna, let me know if that because they said they got delivered. So let me know if that package.
No, she got it. She put it on Facebook. She got it.
Hey, shouts out to Anna.
But was there a special gift in there from your sister?
No, it wasn't in there yet because my sister's still
Okay,
in the process of. So
making it.
yeah. So that will
So she
come
has one
soon.
more gift still coming.
Yeah, she has one more gift still coming. So
Okay.
with that, let's go through this show and start off with our favorite segment. There we go. I got it right. The shameless plug. Here we go. That's
Okay.
you.
Everybody go to. Huh?
No, I said that was you.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was waiting for it to show up so everyone could see that you go
Oh,
to
my
the
bad.
YouTube channel, the Cage Match Show, so they know to like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that bell so you know every time that we drop a new video. And if for whatever reason, I know how it goes with things because I'm on the run. You catch us on Facebook as well at the Oakland Raiders Savage page or the Asylum page. And then when you're done watching our show, why don't you go ahead and jump to WGG and get yourself some energy because we're going to need it with Max Crosby not on the field. And order your energy, get it ready, and when you're ready to check out, the discount code put Cage Match one word to get 10% off your whole order.
And like we always say, when you think of wins, you think of dubs. And when you think of dubs, think of W. Get that energy like everybody else needs to put up since Max Crosby will be inactive. I'm pretty sure it was against his will. They have to tie him down
Oh,
like
I
you can't
guarantee.
play. But
I guarantee.
make sure you go to w.gg, go into the discount code Cage Match, one word, CAGEMATCH, and get that 10% off. And of course, we always shout out the Compa Fabian. Go to www.rn the number 4 lifer.com, RaiderNationForLifer.com. Go there. Check that catalog out. He has some great stuff. Check him out on the when he goes out with his stuff, on the big parties, because he has a whole lot of stuff that he brings with him, a whole lot of gear. So check that out. Like I always say, I only wear hats from the man himself, Fabian. So go there, check that out, and also go to RaiderMan19.com. The Raiderman from Richmond podcast will be coming up soon. He also has merch, the Oath merch, and that Oath is what you hear at the end of our intro. And with that said, we want to somehow, some way, get him to the torch so he can fire up this team. That is our goal for this season. We wanted it to be last game, but we got to find a way, somehow, some way. So, big shouts out to Raiderman19. He's a big part of the show, and we try to find ways to have him get up there and represent the Oakland Mystique with the new Raider way. And so, yeah, we got to get him out there to have the whole stadium say, I am a Raider
A
fan.
Raiders
So,
fan.
with
Yeah.
that, we
Now that we
go.
don't got the first game, we're trying to get a game this year.
We're trying to get a game this year. We have the Browns, but we have a long time, maybe against the Chiefs on October 27th. That'll be a good one, of course, against the Chiefs. The Broncos, the Falcons on Thursday night. I believe that's not Thursday. Yeah, Thursday night, Monday night.
Monday night.
Monday.
Monday.
Sorry, I'm thinking of
Our Thursday night is the Friday night.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of, the other Chiefs game. So one of these games, you want to try to get him out there on the torch. It sounds like an impossible job, but it could happen.
It can happen.
It can happen. So with that said, we have the Browns this upcoming game at Allegiant Stadium. Deshaun
Hold on one
Watson.
second. I gotta go take the Browns to the Super Bowl. Sorry.
Well, the Browns are doing that to themselves. Nah, Deshaun Watson is doing that to the Browns.
Yep.
We're going into Deshaun Watson at a glance. His 3 games that he has played. Let's see. Okay. Actually, let's do it like this. A quarterback comparison. Deshaun Watson and Gardner Minshew. So if you compare the two quarterbacks together, Gardner Minshew has 99 more completions than Deshaun Watson, 67. With less attempts, Gardner Minshew 73 to Deshaun Watson's 116. So he is not completing a lot of his passes. 57.8% completion percentage to Minshew's 73.7. Deshaun Watson's yards of passing 551 with an average of 4.8. He has 3 touchdowns in the air and 2 interceptions. Gardner Minshew 747 yards, 7.5 average, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You know, it was another stat that I noticed that we didn't say last week, that even though Gardner Minshew has 3 interceptions in each game, he also has 3 touchdowns in each game, or a touchdown in each game, in each 3 games. So that was a stat that I said, oh, yeah, well, you know, there was the negative, the interceptions, because those are the things that stand out. But he does have a touchdown pass in each game. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Madison in the first game. And then he had
Go ahead.
then he had the that one touchdown pass to Devontae Adams on that play action against the Ravens, and then he had the one. See, that game was so bad. Yeah, yes. It's Myers towards the end of the game. Yeah, that game was so bad I totally forgot, because it was just so I just kept seeing Andy Dalton.
To just be able to say, you know, to add to it, you know, Aiden O'Connell has a touchdown pass in the game he played too.
Aiden O'Connell has a touchdown pass in the limited action he's seen at the end of that game. So we have touchdowns.
He has touchdowns.
So
There's not enough of them.
All right, so this is your tail of the tape. Gardner Minshew is the more productive quarterback on the field, so he should be the more productive quarterback on the field. And of course, with the news of Dale Mumford not going to play this week, DJ Glaze should get the start for that one. So, and he did look good out there. Him and JPJ look good out there. What do you think, Asylum?
I think if I remember correctly, Glaze only gave up 2 pressures, and for the fact that he was, I don't want to say thrown in there, but you know, put in there due because of the injury and being a rookie, I think that's pretty good for his first game in
Yeah,
regular season, going against the best of the best, you know, the other team's best, not like preseason where it could be third or fourth string, you know, whatever the situation was. So I think Glaze, the more reps he gets, the better he's going to get. So I'm happy to see Glaze out there and be able to prove what he's got. Yes, he's a rookie, so keep that in mind. You know, when he gives up a pressure or a sack or whatever's going to end up happening, because they are going to happen. But I'm happy to see Glaze out there, and I hope JPJ gets more snaps this time and can solidify himself in there, because he was definitely somebody who was drafted to be brought in as a starter rather than later.
well, DJ Glaze, DJ Glaze did give up 1 sack to Clowney, but I mean, you got a guy, Clowney, who was a number 1 overall pick for the Texans a long time ago. You know, and a veteran now.
First round. I don't think he was the number 1 overall, was he?
Well, he was the first round. I thought
he was a high first round pick.
I know he was up there. But I know he was the Texans' number 1 overall, or number 1 pick in that draft a while back. But see, I got people calling me. I know who it is. So, but go having a veteran like that going against a rookie, and he only gave up 1 sack. That's not too bad. And then AP had said that DJ Glaze was able to adjust.
You were right. Round 1, pick 1.
Let's see.
2014.
You over here getting me all confused on my own stats that I remember, my irrelevant stats that I somehow remember in the back of my head. So he did give up a sack to Clowney. But like I said, a rookie going against a veteran like that, who's been around the league but is still making plays wherever he goes, and only 1 sack. AP said that DJ Glaze, what he liked about him was he was able to adjust to the movement of the line. If he had to go, he adjusted to all the like if someone came on his inside, he was able to adjust and get his feet work down and block him out. So he looked good in his first I guess you can say trial in the fire. So
No, he looked good, and I expect the more reps he gets, the better he's going to get. So he has a chance here to solidify himself as that starter. I hope he takes it and just runs with it.
yeah, and I mean, who knows? Because Theo Mumford was penciled in to be the starter. What I mean, I'm not saying that he could lose his job, but if DJ Glaze can, if he shows that he's he could be the guy, he could be the one to take over that right side. But then that maybe can move Mayer to the left. Not Mayer, uh, uh,
Mumford,
Mumford, Thayer, not Mayer, Thayer Mumford to the left side
yeah,
if
which he's better at anyways. So I wouldn't mind that happening if they turn, but that would mean JPJ's not playing or Colton Miller's not playing.
well, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying, uh, you know, but Colton Miller, who's had a lot of injuries in the last few years, of course, um, you have a Thea Mumford that can take his place because I believe Miller is going to be up soon for a contract extension. So we'll see. A lot of these injuries that the Raiders are having right now does open the door for the young talent to come in and show what they can do. And maybe with this young talent that's coming in to take the place of a Max Crosby or a Devontae Adams, um, these players or these high end type of players that it can show that we have reliable depth and maybe another Kuntz can emerge from those guys. Like we said, Snowden, Robinson, So I mean, this is one of those opportunities that a player, when they get out there, you got to make the most of it and make the best of it because you never know when this opportunity comes. When you have a guy like Max Crosby who does not take plays off on his own, they got to force him off the
Or miss
field.
or miss games. You got to remember this is the first game he's missed in what 2 years.
I don't think he's missed.
Crosby.
I don't think he's missed a game. I mean, he didn't start a few, of course, in his rookie year and his second year, but I believe he's played every single game since then so far.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, you got to take advantage of these opportunities because if you don't get to take advantage of it and show what you're capable of doing, you may never get that chance with some of the players that we have on the team.
Yes. And as I was going with, I had my graphics backwards. Deshaun Watson at a glance. His 3 games this season. Deshaun Watson has been a disappointment to the Browns since acquiring him, and I think it's as a Browns fan, I would hate it to see because they had Baker Mayfield and they let him go, and then they went and get
For
Deshaun
Watson,
Watson for Watson on that trade from the Texans, and Deshaun Watson has not really lived up to that trade that they made for him. And then, of course, with the legal action or the legal battles that he's been going through, um,
that he's still going through.
that he's still going through, that he missed right here an entire 2021 season due to that suspension. Um, the Browns fans, I know that because I'm not gonna. I mean, it's kind of like us now. We're looking at, and I know people are gonna probably hate this, but I know that some of us are like, "Why Derek Carr's over there looking good with the Saints?" I know he had a bad game against the Philadelphia Eagles this last Sunday, but we have inconsistent play at quarterback. We all kept saying that all he needed was a defense, but this is all, I guess, hindsight 2020. Is that what I guess?
So yeah, it's always hindsight 2020. I
Yeah.
mean, even with this Deshaun, I mean, the reason his passing numbers are what they are is he's like a Lamar Jackson. He's like a Patrick. He's kind of in between the Lamar Jackson and a Patrick Holmes. His first instinct is to run. He can throw, but he's when you have him throw, what do I see, 37 times a game, 34 times,
Yeah.
45 times. That's not his wheelhouse to sit him back in the pocket and just keep trying to throw the ball. He wants to run, and if you're holding him back from that, you're holding him back from what his talent is. And in my opinion, I didn't think he was all that great of a quarterback, anyways. He had a team built around him when he was with the Texans, and things were going great. And then because of the legal battles, Texans want to get out from under him. The Browns said, "We'll take that chance," and unfortunately, that chance has not worked out for him.
Yeah, and I think he just had that one season. I think it was like um, the 2019 season, where he was making all them plays off his feet, and that was in 2019 the only time the Raiders did face him. He was with the Houston Texans. Yeah, Houston Texans. 27-24, the Raiders lost to Deshaun Watson and the Texans when he was with them at the time. He threw for 27 of 39, 279 yards with 3 touchdowns. So that's the only time the Raiders had seen him. But this year, going through the games, the first game against the New York Giants, um, 37 attempts, 21 completions, 56.8 percentage on that, 196 yards. So that's pretty low. 2 touchdowns. That's not bad. Well, that's pretty good. He was sacked 8 times for 48 yards. Lost that game 21-15. At Jacksonville, 34 attempts, 22 completions, 64.7 percentage on that one, 186 yards. So all his games, it has been just under 200 yards. He had no touchdowns in that game. He was sacked twice for 14 yards. He won that game 18-13. And then this last game against Dallas, 45 attempts, 24 completions, 53.3 percentage on that one, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 6 times for 32 yards of lost yards. And he lost that game 33-17. So their quarterback situation with Deshaun Watson has been very inconsistent. And
That sounds familiar.
yeah,
Where have I heard that before?
it could be a very even battle uh, going both sides
Well,
of the ball.
but now looking at this, who do they have on defense, and who are we missing on our defense?
They got Miles Garrett, the reigning defensive player of the year, and our guy. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they forced him down. I'm sorry, we can't play you. That ankle, we don't want to get it worse in the beginning of the season. At the start of this young season, we don't want you to get worse. Like last year, towards the end of last year, where he was playing with that bad knee, with that bad swollen knee that almost got him, uh, physically his health, almost.
Well, it almost killed them, according to the
Yeah,
doctors.
yeah. So they don't want him to. How AP says it, he's trying to protect the player from the
From
player.
himself.
So yeah,
Yes.
so we won't
Well,
have our.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him handcuffed to the damn bench. That's the only way you're probably going to keep him off the field. And being a high, yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen high ankle sprains? We talked about it. What was it on Wednesday? A high ankle sprain. That's something that can last a whole season if you don't take care of it right.
Yes, a high ankle sprain is worse than a low ankle sprain. That's more
Yes.
in the That's more like a grade 2. I think there's 3 grades. I had a third one, but that was a ligament tear when I had my injury at my old job. But that was a ligament tear. But this one, a high ankle, uh, those, yeah, like you said, those ones hinder longer. Those are they take a little longer to heal. So Max Crosby, they asked AP today, what is it? What is his? What is it gonna? What does it look like? They say he's gonna be out today, and he's gonna be day to day because he's probably gonna try to force himself out there for the next game and the next game. So we gotta kind of just watch him and protect him from himself. But with Deshaun
And that's more
Watson,
important. I know people are going to be upset about it, but that's more important because we saw him ineffective in the last game. He was in the backfield a little bit, but he was not Max Crosby. And when it
yeah,
comes down to it, I'd rather have him back for the long haul and miss a game or two versus trying to do what he's doing and be, not Max Crosby long term.
Yeah, and that's that point is what's more valuable, a Max Crosby at 50% or another player at 100%, and you say, well, I'll take a Max Crosby at 50% because he's higher than most. But if the offensive line can just be like, well, we can just get one guy on Max Crosby because he
Mhm.
can't really push off that leg, then we can focus on double teaming somebody else, and now we just can contain this defensive line with guys like Wilkins and Adams and Adam Butler. I mean, so having Max Crosby off there, yeah, it does focus now more on Wilkins in the middle, but maybe that'll get these younger ends. I won't say younger, but these young, rookie and first year, second year guys, these defensive ends, to make some plays out there. And AP said, I don't need another Max Crosby. I don't need you to try to replace Max Crosby. I just need you to be you and make your plays. Don't try to be the superhero and try to take over and be Max Crosby. Just do you. Focus on your assignments and just play your
The
game.
only thing, the only thing we need out of them to be close to Max Crosby is the energy.
Yes.
You be you, just go out there and give 100% every time.
Yeah, and then this game, everyone's and I hear said in the comments. She said, "Why is everyone freaking out? I think the team will step up." And that's what AP is, trying to teach them. Like, hey, next man up mentality. Yeah, okay, Max Crosby's not out there. The he is the guy. He is the dude on defense, as Hondo would say it. But you have other veterans out there, and of course with Marcus Epps, that's who's also going to be out in this game for the rest of the season. You have a lot of young guys that are stepping into positions that were held by veteran leadership. So it'll give these young guys, I guess, another trial by fire to be out there and make plays where the veterans would be at. If you look at the Cleveland Browns rankings on offense and defense, yards per game, offense, they are 208 yards per game. That's 31st. Rushing yards, 95.7. That's 23rd. Um, Passing yards, 152.3. They're ranked 30th. Points per game, 16.7. They're ranked 25th. And their overall offensive rank for the Browns is 31st. Their defense, yards per game, 309.3. They give up. That's, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, they give up. That's 12th. 12th in the league. Yards per game, 113.7. That is 13th in the league. Um, Passing yards per game, 195.7, 14th, and points per game, 22.3, 20th. Their total defense is ranked fourth. So their defense is the one. As if you've seen the scores that I had posted earlier with Deshaun Watson's graphic, uh, outside of the Dallas game, the scores are pretty low. Raiders rankings, offense, total yards, 295.7. That's 22nd in the league. 51 yards a game in rushing. That's 32nd, last in the league. Passing yards, 244.7, fourth in the league. Points per game, 19.3 at 17th, and total offensive ranking is 21st. The Raiders defense, 378.7 yards, given up 30th in the league. Rushing yards, 152.7, 30th in the league. Passing yards per game, 226.0, 23rd in the league. And points per game, 27 points, which is 28th. Their defense, surprisingly, not what we expected, is ranked 30th in the league, coming off of those last 9-10 games that AP took over, but they were first in a lot of categories. So,
I
what
think
does that
that's a
tell
little
you?
skewed, though. I think it's a little skewed on our defense because our defense spent a lot of time on the field in those 3 games.
Yeah.
So, let's look at the first 2 quarters of the first 2 games where they shut down both the Chargers and Baltimore. And I think we'd be closer to that fourth, first, somewhere in that range, top five at least, if it wasn't for the second half of both those games.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, it's a team sport. So if the offense was able to at least move the ball and not have a whole bunch of 3-and-outs, the defense wouldn't have gotten tired, like you said in the last episode. The defense, they're getting tired because they're getting worked early. The team has been relying on the defense too much early in the season as a result of the injuries that we have sustained on that side. Divine Diablo, Malcolm Coots. Well, he hasn't played in the season. He was ruled out for the season since the beginning of the season. But Marcus Epps, these veteran guys that will not play this game, and some are not playing for the rest of the season. So the offense needs to step up. This could be a get right game. If there was a wake up call that they said, this could be a game that they can get right, get back on the winning column.
Well, it's going to be tough for the offense. We going up against we'll call it right now, the fourth ranked defense in the NFL. So we got to keep that in mind. But our defense should hopefully be able to contain the offense and keep it close enough for our. Let me phrase that. Contain the Browns offense, and keep the score close enough for us to be able to do what we need to if we get this offense kicking and going and be able to hopefully win this game.
Yeah, and Garner Minshew's stats from last game, they're not bad. They're not bad, but that one interception, we have to make sure to not turn the ball over. That's one thing that AP has been preaching is ball security, keeping the ball, not giving the ball up to the defense, to the opposing defense, especially with great field position for their team, for their offense. So Gardner Minshew has to step up. This is also a game that we'll be watching how they call the plays, how they run this offense, because like we showed on this graphic, Raiders passing number 4, their passing defense is 14th. So I mean, you gotta start with the pass. You gotta have the pass, open up the run if you want to get that running game going, and have these guys.
They're going to have to start off the bat passing the ball, not trying to force the run. That's going to make the difference in this game, I think. If they can come out and start off with the passes, those quick passes, everything that was working in Baltimore towards the end of last week's game, even though it was garbage time, I understand that, but those quick passes were working for us, and that's going to help open up the run.
Yeah, and I mean, what I saw when we were playing against the Panthers last week, I saw that the Panthers were doing a lot of screens towards the side that Max Crosby would pass rush in. So maybe do something like that. Because a lot of the screens, I know the Raiders were throwing a lot of screens, but it seemed like either the players were taking too long to get towards their blocks, or Minshew, I don't know, because these screens are not quick screens. They're taking too long to develop, to where now it's like Minshew's already getting hit because in the screen you hit your guy and then you get ready for the next level, but he's either taking too long throwing that screen. The running back is either taking too long to get to a spot, or the blockers are taking too long to get to the spot. So this team has to play with urgency. This team has to play fast, especially on offense. They got to play fast. How about some quick huddles, some quick snaps? But I want to see if Myles Garrett is coming up.
Quick huddles. How about some no huddle? How about some no huddles? How about when you're doing these screens, and stop throwing them from behind the line of scrimmage and throw them in front of the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, like the old school, them sugar huddles. You get 2 plays, but hurry up. I'm going to give you 2 plays, and let's go. Let's run it. But let's do a quick tempo, because I feel like if it's all about, if our blocking is not that great, if we don't have the right guys in there, whatever the excuse is for this offensive line that's not functioning, and you said in last week that they're starting to gel a little bit better. It looked a little bit more better this past week, but if you want to get this offensive line confidence, no huddle, quick off the ball, because it's not really about them getting overpowered. It's about them, the defensive line, already knowing when it's time to take off and the offensive line has to try to catch him. Now, if the offensive line can catch the defensive line off guard, that will have a better chance of opening up these holes for running play, or a better chance to stand up these defensive linemen, where Minshew has time to maybe even roll out to see around and make plays down the field where he sees these guys are open. One player that will be out there taking the spot of um, Devontae Adams is a Trey Tucker. I know this is one of your favorite guys, Asylum, because you had him saying if you get Trey Tucker the ball, we have a better chance of winning. What do you think about Trey Tucker's chances of now? I'm not saying he's going to be the starter next to Jacoby Myers, but most likely he will be lined up. Him and DJ Turner will be taking spots, or maybe even having the undrafted rookie. I'm forgetting his name right now. Keaton, maybe Keaton or somebody. Yeah, having that big body in replace of Devontae Adams. What do you think about the receivers in this game, especially Trey
Well, I
Tucker?
think Trey Tucker. I mean, this is a chance to get. We know what Jacoby Myers is going to do. We know we could be focus with him. It's going to be obviously a big game. That's why I left him in my fantasy right now because with Devontae Adams out, you're definitely going to get a bigger game out of Jacoby Myers. Next in line, yes, is Trey Tucker. I think this is going to force us to use Trey Tucker even more, whether it's the deep ball, medium passes, even in some of the short, passes and everything, because he is now wide receiver too.
Yes.
Uh, I definitely think DJ Turner is going to get some chances. Keenan Keaton's going to get some chances, but there's also a chance here. Michael Mayers is out, so we know what Brock Bowers could do. But what about Dylan Labe coming out of the backfield or even in the slot and everything else? I think there might be more chances of him coming in and maybe seeing the ball. We haven't seen him yet in any game that I could recall in the first three games. So this might be a chance for even the running backs to go out on screen passes and catching passes out of the backfield. I think this is a chance for them to all shine as well.
Yeah, I believe Dylan Labe has been inactive these first three games, so that'll give him a chance to go out there. Um, I would like to see maybe having him out there, seeing what he can do. If we're all, I want to say questioning, but the jury is out on Zamir White. Madison has proven he was a good acquisition off the free agency from Minnesota.
So
But,
far, yep.
so far, yes, like you said last week, he has a touchdown in each game played. But this could be one of those games that, and AP said it in his press conference, you know, Tucker could be in number two in any other team. But because we do have Myers and we do have Devontae Adams, he is that third guy, that slot guy. So this would be a chance for Tucker to step up and show what he can do alongside Jacoby Myers. And that probably will give Myers more targets, like you said. And we also have Bryant, excuse me, the other tight end,
Yes, the tight end. Yes.
who was a former Brown, so he's fired up to play this game. So maybe get him some targets, and he can replace Myers. I'm sorry, he can replace Michael Mayer as that blocking tight end on the line if need be. So we do have
Also,
capable
so
guys.
that's what he was originally brought in for.
Hmm.
Bryant was originally brought in to be that blocking tight end before we drafted Bowers. So, I mean, here's his chance to be able to do what needs to be done, like you were saying, possibly catch some passes. I think we saw him catch a couple passes during preseason. Uh, so, I mean, here's a chance for a lot of players to be able to step up into, I don't want to say a new role, but a higher role because of positioning, on the roster and everything. And as you said earlier, and AP and everything, it's next man up, and here's your chance to fucking prove it and show that hey, make the decision difficult for Antonio Pierce and the rest of them, saying who the fuck are we going to put as the starter and everything because we had so and so play well, we've had this person play well. Do we do what do we got to do here, and as well as that will help hopefully keep the other players get in their heads and make them fucking step up. The people who maybe, we'll use Devontae Adams in this. He's had more drops in these first three games than I think I've seen him have his whole time as a Raider.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking Adams. He's obviously our best wide receiver. But, you get something like that and going, and, Adams start taking not his jobs in jeopardy, but he's going to cut into his reps, balls past him. It can only help, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I see it this way: when you have Tucker out there, who is now gonna be most likely one of the starting receivers, and then with DJ Turner coming in, also basically moving into Tucker's slot. But this can show the team, like I said earlier, that these other guys can be reliable if they need to put them in. And maybe it'll also give them confidence, these individual players that are stepping in, to show that you don't need to like try to shine as bright as a Devontae Adams like on offense, or a Michael Mayer on offense, or a Crosby on defense. Just play your way, your game, and that's all we want from you. So now to be more comfortable to be within their own skin and not trying to live up to a Crosby, a Crosby like expectation that Crosby sets for himself. Just play your game, be that role player, and now that you have this starting job for this game, just make the most of it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to overdo it. Just do what you can. Make your plays. Like I David said, try not to make mistakes, but just, go out there and play your best. So just do what you can do. One thing that we do have to clean up from last game are the penalties that we had in the first two games of the season. We only had five accepted penalties for 30 yards of penalty yardage. This last game, 6 accepted penalties with a loss of 54. So 54 penalty yards. So we got to make sure that we go back to disciplined football. You can still play hard and aggressive, but go back to disciplined football, especially with these new guys stepping in on defense. Mostly making sure that they have that same discipline and try to at least not shoot themselves in the foot. And you can't stop how they say penalties by plays, like and how they throw pass interference that was questionable, or a holding that was questionable, but more like the mental ones, like an offsides, jumping offsides, or a false start, which we rarely had any too many false starts. If I can remember, I don't think we've had a false start this season. But just the mental error penalties, keep that 0. The other one is aggressive penalties, whatever, like a holding, on the DBs or whatever, in that backfield secondary. So just try to get that discipline back. Just reset, refocus. Don't freak out that these key starters are not playing. Just do your job. It's not like we're going against the Kansas City Chiefs and now we have Max Crosby out and we have all these guys out. But just make sure that this is a good game against these Browns, that you can I can still hear you, that you can get right, basically get right. Sorry, we're
No,
trying to do sound check and everything. Sorry people.
yeah, apparently I'm having problems. Anyways, but no, this is also a thing that could help build confidence in the team. With players like the Crosbys and the Devontaes, if you can sit here and start building this confidence now with the players that got to step up and go, and when the players come back from injury, step in. When you're playing teams like the Chiefs, and you're doing your rotations, you feel confident that I'm coming in or they're coming in, that they're not going to fail because of it. Or if somebody happened to go down because of something and has to take, 4 or 5 plays off while they're, in the blue tent to get cleared, whoever can step in, and the team knows, and the team is confident, the player is confident, everybody is confident that they can come in and do the job serviceably.
Serviceably.
Yeah, I know that was
Yes.
tough to say.
New words here on this episode of the Cage Match. Get your thesaurus ready. So let's look at the history between the two franchises, the Raiders and the Browns. The Raiders currently have a 4-game winning streak versus the Cleveland Browns, your expansion Cleveland Browns from 1999. I've got to throw that out there,
Yes, because we know the original Browns are in Baltimore.
Yeah, and we beat them this year, so let's sweep the
Maybe,
Browns or smear the
let's keep
Browns.
the
I don't
Browns. There you go.
know.
Smear the
Smear the
Queens.
Browns. All right. So their last meeting was in 2021 in December. Raiders were in Cleveland for that game when they got that game late, 16-14. That one of the notable recent games versus the two was in Oakland, 9 in September 30th of 2018, 42-45. Well, 42 Cleveland, Oakland 45, and I'm gonna go all over the place. An overtime win. I remember that game. That was the one game I didn't go to. I had tickets for that year. That was one game I didn't go to. I didn't get a chance to go to. I had personal obligations. So with that game, and I missed that one game where they had kicked that field goal late in overtime. I almost went to a tie on that one. But one notable game that the Raiders and Browns are always tied to is from 1980 in that wild card year when the Raiders were in the wild card and made their way to the Super Bowl. They had to face Cleveland in negative temperature conditions out there. So in this episode of Know Your History, we go back in time to that game, which Marty Schottenheimer, which we do have a lot of history with him, especially when he was with the Chiefs and then he came over to be the head coach for the Chargers. He was the head coach. Well, no, he was the head coach. He was the head coach of that. He was the head coach or he was a defensive coordinator. Well,
Flip a coin. I'll take either one.
I think it was the defensive coordinator in that game. We're going to go back into that one, and that'll be today's episode of Know Your History. So here we go at Know Your History right here.
And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history.
The Raiders met the Browns in Cleveland last Sunday with a temperature a knee-knocking 1 degree above zero. With a wind chill factor of 37 below, it was the coldest postseason game in 13 years. But Oakland shirt sleeve Dave Dalby matched his California cool against the elements. Cleveland coach Sam Ratigliano discussed field conditions with a noted meteorologist and football forecaster. Browns quarterback Brian Sipe, number 17, longed for a dry ball and unfettered fingers to catch it. Sipe was also hampered by the Mad Stork, Ted Hendricks, number 83, Oakland's 5-time All-Pro linebacker, who is enjoying his finest season. Allowed to freelance by the Oakland coaching staff, Hendricks roamed the field, discarding blockers and disrupting both the pass and the run. The Browns defense made some big plays of its own as Clarence Scott dropped Jim Plunkett on a safety blitz. But the Browns' biggest play of the day was made by cornerback Ron Bolton, number 28. His 42-yard return of a second-quarter Plunkett pass for the game's first score warmed the cockles of the hearts of the frozen faithful. The fans were grateful not only for the touchdown, but also for the chance to move around. The extra point was blocked, but the Browns led 6-0. Jim Plunkett retaliated immediately, hitting Raymond Chester to set up a touchdown that gave Oakland a 7-6 lead. With the Browns' defense denying the perimeter of the field to the Raiders' dangerous receivers, Plunkett found the middle vulnerable. Tight end Chester's 27-yard reception set up Oakland's second touchdown, scored by the man who plowed in for both Raider touchdowns, Mark Van Egan, number 30. Van Egan may be the most unpublicized back in the NFL, but he has averaged over 1,000 yards for the 4 seasons prior to this one. With Cleveland having added 2 Don Cockraw field goals, the score now stood 14-12, Oakland. The Raiders' brilliant defense meant to keep it that way. Lester Hayes made his 17th interception of the season, the all-time NFL high for 1 year. Oakland was unable to hold its breath as Cleveland mounted a late charge. The Cardiac Kids once again sent pulses skipping. Greg Pruitt caught Brian Sipes' pass with less than a minute left in the game to spur hopes of yet another miracle. With 2nd and 9 on Oakland's 13-yard line, Retigliano and Sipe decided to go for the touchdown since the brutal weather had already nullified 3 field goal attempts. Cleveland may be a conservative city, but its coach is a gambler.
Red slot right. The red slot right. Your effect stay 88. Let's go.
Brian Sipe had pulled countless games out of the fire, but Mike Davis iced this 14-12 win for the Raiders. There was no joy in Mudville, for Mighty Casey had struck out. Another look at the game-saving play shows Sipe had sure footing and good protection. He simply threw a bad pass, something he hasn't done often in amassing over 4,000 yards this year. Sipe joined Joe Namath and Dan Fouts as the only men to reach the 4,000-yard mark. Cleveland has become synonymous with last-second victories. But Oakland has been winning heart-stoppers since the Cardiac Kids were in grade school. The Raiders, only 9-7 last year, can graduate to their 3rd Super Bowl with a victory over the San Diego Chargers this week in the more agreeable climate of Southern California.
Should have kicked the field goal.
Yeah, shut up. But we thank you that you didn't. Another Raider podcast. What is up? He said, I love watching these old games. The full game, though. Yes. I love watching those old games. Try to find them all on YouTube. But we only have like a few minutes to try to do the highlights. I wish we could, but we'll probably get shut down again by the NFL and Roger Goodell. But real quick.
I left my tinfoil hat at home.
So real quick, you see how I changed my background? Yesterday, the Oakland A's played their last game as of right now, because I know they're supposed to build a stadium in Vegas, where the Tropicana will be at right now. But and I don't know how official that is. It's like officially, it's unofficially official. So I think there's I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to, wish for some hope or something. But the A's played their last game in Oakland yesterday. I was actually at that game. I was up in 312, my first time being up in the 300s in a long time. So I did a lot of walking.
That's a Raiders game?
So, well, my last Raiders game up in 300s was... I was the game when It was the game when Peyton Manning was playing for the Broncos, and he threw like 4 or 5 touchdowns against us. It was an afternoon game. I got one of my friends from one of my softball teams gave me 4 tickets, and I was trying to find people, like who wants to go with me, and I couldn't find nobody. This is when they were like, during that when they were really, really, really,
Doing
really bad.
14 and,
Yeah. So
4 and whatever, 4 and 12.
so I couldn't find nobody. So I used one ticket and basically ate the other 3. But I didn't pay for them. It was given to me. So I guess that tells you how bad the season it was. But I don't care. Give me the ticket. I'll be over there. Any chance I get at the stadium. And so I went to last week's game. I went to last night's game. My last chance in the stadium. I did get the little small stadium. I have it displayed in my living room. But a video came out. Asylum found this. A little video came out, dedication that came out for the Oakland A's fans and the Coliseum. We already seen over here in the Bay Area our Raiders leave. We already seen, and I know they just went over the bridge, but the Warriors left the arena, which was right next door to the Coliseum. A's being the last team, their ownership is garbage. That's what they kept saying in the stands. So they were just chanting.
Disagree with them though.
They were chanting very negative things towards the A's owner, Fisher.
I heard it was at least a sellout.
Oh, it was a sellout. It was a sellout. I do have pictures I gotta post up. But it was a sellout, and the A's won 3-2. So with that, it's a little dedication, being that me and you are from the Oakland area, have been to many games, A's and the Raiders, of course, in Mecca, the concrete castle that we call the Oakland Coliseum, our second home. I grew up there basically with all the history that I've seen and know. And you were a 17-year season ticket holder for the Raiders. So this is what we call church on Sundays. So here's a dedication, an A's fan. His name is Jeremy Wessler, made this video that Asylum found on social media. So I want to play this. Here we go.
Once upon a time, there was a team called the A's. They played baseball in Oakland since '68. There were doubles and strikeouts and walk-offs with pie. There was music and drums, fireworks in the sky. The fans celebrated with every home run, a team and a city, together as one. Good night, Oakland. Good night, A's. Good night, baseball. Good night, fan base. Good night, Catfish, Eck, and Reggie. Good night, Raleigh, Stu, and Ricky. Good night, Gold. Good night, Green. Good night, Coco's Barney Lean. Good night, Blue Moon. Good night, Big 3. Good night, 20-game winning spree. Good night, Vida. Good night, Harden. Good night, Billy, Bean, and Martin. Good night, players we didn't want to leave. Good night to chanting, I believe. Good night, Campy. Good night, Bando. Good night, trading stars for randos. Good night, Stomper. Good night, Hall of Famers. Good night, first-time fans. Good night, every gamers. Good night, weekend pregame tailgate. Good night, no Bart, when games run late. Good night, Dick. Good night, Roy. Good night, Bill. Good night, Ray. Good night, perfect game on Mother's Day. Good night, MC Hammer. Good night, Tom Hanks. Good night, underdogs who rose through the ranks. Good night, cheap seat. Good night, three-peat. Good night, bashes. Good night, stashes. Good night, stolen bases. Good night, dot races. Good night, big swings. Good night, four rings. Good night, bleacher fans with creative new cheers. Good night, loyal staff with iconic careers. Good night, outfield drum. Good night, Coliseum. Good night, bright white cleats and pants. Good night, let's go Oakland chants. Good night, homers. Good night, double plays. Good night, team and city, where our heart stays. Good night, forever, Oakland A's.
I turn off my green screen, whatever virtual background, to show Little Seam. This is what they gave out yesterday. Well, I call Little Seam. So Oakland Coliseum right there. Let me get there it goes. There you go. So we all have memories inside of this stadium, whether it's from baseball or from the Raiders, because this is, the field went this way, across this way like that. This was the black hole right here. This was Asylum. You sat around here in this area.
Yeah. Yep.
I seen the AFC Championship game when they went to the Super Bowl up in Mount Davis because they didn't have the tarps up then. So I seen in an A's game. I seen Sonny Gray. Which way am I looking? On this end, I was watching Sonny Gray win a game in the playoffs, and I forgot who it was. I think it was against the White Sox.
I think I was at that game too.
Yeah, that was in 20. I want to say 2015, 2016. Yeah. So we all have memories inside of this building. Well, not this building because it's a small one. This is a stadium for ants. No, for in this building.
Hey, it could be that building if it was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh yeah, we're doing like a Zoolander building for ants. No, so yeah, they passed this out. So I have this. This will be displayed.
You didn't grab one for me?
They were very like, you had to have a voucher to get it, and then they made you get it. They started handing them out during the 7th inning because they wanted you out of the stadium. So it was like either stay to the end or try to get one of these. And I'm like, I want to stay to the end, but I want to make sure I have one of these. So, but they have them on eBay. They're trying to overprice.
Probably $50.
No, they want to sell it for like 100 and something. But right here, this is where I hope Wilkins clotheslines Watson forces a fumble for a slow TD. Watkins stands over Watson like Ali and lights out a cigar. I believe Watson will take care and send Watson to a massage parlor, because injuries, so whatever. But with that said, thank you Coliseum for hosting, for being the place that we all went to outside over there, our church on Sundays, our pastimes on Saturday nights, the catwalk from the BART coming out, walking that catwalk, walking up to this building. That's what we were seeing. Leaving. Yes, it was only when you lost, you hated it, but when you won, you loved it. But hey, they had those bacon wrapped hot dogs out there, so and
all those bootleg T-shirts.
Can't forget the bootleg T-shirts. I bought a couple of $20. Hey, yeah, here you go. Because inside it's like 70-40. So, shouts out to the Coliseum. I know they're going to have soccer over there, but it's not the same. But even if I do go, I'll still be yelling out their Raiders through the hallways. We were doing that yesterday. There was a lot of Raider fans out there too, who were A's fans who were giving their last shouts out to the Coliseum, their last farewell to the Coliseum. Twice. You were at the last Raider game at the Coliseum. How was that? Yep. I know, and Gardner Minshew was the quarterback for the team that we lost to, the Jaguars. How was that game, the Raiders' last game in the Coliseum?
How was it? Oh, I mean, it was depressing. We lost. It was
Well, yeah,
depressing because I mean, no, it was. It was just all the way around. It wasn't really the loss. It was just the fact of because I had already moved to Kansas at the time, so it was just knowing it was the last time I was ever going to be in that stadium.
yeah,
I always thought I'd be able to come back for the A's and everything, and to be able to visit and go, but for football. But it's just one of those. I mean, it's an end of an era. I mean, we're not saying goodbye to the A's because they're not losing their name; they're just changing their name. But it's still it's an end of an era for some of us who spent what is it fucking majority of our lives going to that stadium one way or another,
yeah.
and now we have nothing
I
when it
mean,
comes to Oakland
no, go,
lost to everything.
yeah. I mean, and I wasn't born yet, but even Earth, Wind, and Fire, which is my favorite band of all time, uh, their DVD from, or I mean, well, it was on Laserdisc when I seen it first, but the one I talked about in an episode a while back, that got me into Earth, Wind, and Fire was a concert that they have on DVD, Laserdisc, whatever. It was inside of this Coliseum. It was in Oakland, so this stadium meant a lot to me. Going over there, the excitement, whether it's taking BART or driving up to there, just walking inside, and yeah, to everybody else, seeing all like the water stains or whatever it is on the cement walls. But they say it was a dump, but like we always say, it was our dump.
It was our dump. Yep, it was, and that's the thing. I mean, the BART alone. I mean, it was so nice. You could take a public transportation straight to the damn Coliseum, and it was a 5 minute walk after that to get out of the station across the catwalk, and you were there. It was one of the best. You didn't have to drive. You were able to tailgate. It was just, yeah, it was a great situation. It was a blue collar town, a blue collar uh, teams, and blue collar stadium, and now that's blue collars got nowhere to go.
Yeah, so I mean, when I drive past it on 880 and I see it, I have like little flashbacks of my memories there. So yeah, it was very they were playing a lot of clips of all like the memories, like the Bernie Lean. They were playing World Series highlights. They were showing some highlights of the Bash Brothers. They even one of the players, which is it's hard for me to keep up with the A's because they have so much turnover. But one of the A's players, and I had just walked out to try to get the stadium. One of the A's players came out there. His song when he came up to bat was "Careless Whisper." He did the "Careless Whisper" like
Oh,
Josh
that
Reddick.
no, that. Oh, he okay. I get it. I go.
Yeah,
Did he?
yeah. One player came out there playing a "Careless Whisper" by George Michael.
By Wham. It was by
Well,
Wham.
fine, Wham, fine. Yeah, so just want to give a show love to the Coliseum. I'm gonna miss this place. I know you miss this place, so
Oh yeah.
we just wanted to do that real quick since that just happened last night, and then that video Asylum found this morning, so they wanted to play that. So speaking of history, well, actually no, we did it already. Never mind. I'm going backwards. I'm kind of it did. We kind of was because of the show. I mean, because of the A's game from and then Asylum being out on the run. Um, we were trying to put the show together real quick, so we'll be back to our normal schedule going into next week, going into the game versus that is against the Broncos, right? Let's look
Yes.
it up.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that's a very important game because they want to keep that streak going. So we'll be ready and prepared and on the regular time. I know we had 2 early shows this week, but we'll go back to regular time for that to talk about the Broncos and hopefully talk about a Raider victory on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, and then talk about the Broncos and how we can smack them around and send them back to the glue factory for another matchup, another Raiders tailgate. I got to tailgate early at the last game too. Sadly, it went by so fast. For me, the smell of ganja in the air, the booze and food throwing at the end. And aside from that, it was a special place. Yes. So shout out to the Coliseum. We're going to miss you, Oakland Coliseum. Whether it's a Raider game, an A's game, or any other. They probably might have a few. I know they have the soccer games, but it's not the same. So with that, we end our episode. Asylum, any last words, concerns, prayers, or whatever? I don't know.
No, just it's sad to say goodbye to the Coliseum completely now. Uh, you know, even though we got players out, let's not fucking hang our heads. Anything else like that. It's going to be tough, but we could squeak out this win like we did in Baltimore, and then be 2-2. Some of these ones got to go. Let it be ours, and let's just start this momentum here and show everybody that this team is coming together and not falling apart.
Yes. All adversity could just be a window of opportunity to show victory, and anything else I can figure out that rhymes with anything that ends with E. So with that said, thank you for watching. Let's go Raiders. Let's just take care of business. It's a good team to take care of business with the inactives that we have. So let's just try to focus. Get back.
One last time. Let's go Oakland.
Let's go
Let's
Oakland.
Go Oakland.
Oh,
I had to just get one last one in.
I could have had that up the whole time. I thought it was in a block out, but yes.
Oh, write it out, yeah.
One last time for the Coliseum. Let's go Oakland.
Go Oakland.
And one more time.
Let's go. Raiders.
In the hallways. Raiders.
Raiders.
All right. With that said, we're going to end the show like we always do with a message from Raider Milt, a.k.a. Coach Wallace. This video was filmed at the Coliseum parking lot, so that'll be a great kind of like shout out with how a Raider tailgate used to be. A little quick one, you guys know how it goes. So, all right, then with that said, here we go. Asylum, take care. Get back safely. Don't let them catch you. We need you back for Wednesday's show.
They haven't yet. I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio. They haven't caught me yet.
Yes, and make sure, don't fumble the Wilson, okay? Don't pull Tom Hanks and fumble Wilson. All right. Get Wilson back safely. The volleyball. All right, then. Take care, everybody. Safe and sound. Take care, everybody. Let's get that victory. Let's go, Raiders. And one more time. Let's go, Oakland.
Let's go, Oakland.
Let's go, Oakland.
Let's go, Oakland.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight again. I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.